There's a good picture of it. Through all. We're going to add some fillets and combine our two features. So we'll combine the rim to the interior cuts, add some more fillets, and then we can scale it up to our model 18.85 times, and that's about it for your wheel. We're gonna dive into the tire now. This is what the finished version looks like. So it's gonna be very similar to my other video on the Aston Martin tire. Similar concept. We're gonna first start with a sketch to revolve around using this sketch and an axis line here. We're going to revolve it around that axis. We're going to then offset the top surface and we're going to import the sketch picture of a tire onto plane 1, 30 millimeters from the front plane. We're going to start sketching our first tread contour using the lines. We'll split it through the faces. Now we're going to do another sketch to revolve around using this sketch here, and we'll do a surface revolve of that spline 360 degrees. Hit OK. Now we are going to start cutting out our first tread line using our sketch from before, and this time we're going to go lightly into the surface, not all the way, because it's a performance tire, so we're only going to go 12.5 millimeters inward. Let's hide this. We're going to pattern that around the tire edge 45 times to spread it out more. And then we're going to do a similar thing with our next sketch here. All right, so now we are going to sketch our other tread contour out from our projected plane, and we're going to extrude it up to the surface. Tracing this outline. and we'll circular pattern that 45 times as well. We'll then subtract material using the combine, get rid of those extrusions. Now we'll do the same thing for this outline. Up the surface. And we'll pattern that 50 times. Subtract material again. As the tires are main body and our extrusions are the bodies to subtract. Circular pattern 5. So on and so forth. If you need more detail on those lines, you can see my other video on the Aston Martin. Now we have sketch 16, which is a line down the center. We'll split the tire into 2 halves. And we're going to cut some material on this outer edge. And we're going to start patterning the center groove. Cut it all the way up to the surface. Pattern that. We're going to offset the surface a little bit. Face 1 and 2. We can skip the text detail. We don't want that on this tire. So we will remove those. Now we're going to mirror the result on the other side. Cut away our last groove. Using these lines here. cut. And then we'll scale it up. And voila. Now for the wheel assembly, we just have the tire and the rim. We'll do a concentric mate first, and then we're going to do mid-plane of each component. Coincident and pretty simple. So now we're going to take a look at the construction and design of the side mirror. This is what the final version will look like. It looks complex, but it's actually pretty simple. We're going to turn on our sketch pictures from the front, side, and right top planes so we can get the outlines right. We're going to start with a surface extrude using our blueprint for the side mirror. As an estimate of the overall shape, we're going to extrude that out mid-plane. We're going to add some split lines. If you look on our front plane, right down the center and through our surface extrude, that'll be points to use as a reference later. Now we're going to do a surface trim. We're going to cut this slanted line using on the bottom plane, following this edge of the mirror, and we're going to trim it all the way up through our extrude. Remove some material. Now we're going to create plane 4 using those split line edges. And on plane 4, we are going to sketch this shape, just a parabola from end to end, covering over the blueprint, and then we're gonna extrude this surface up 40 mil, down rather, towards the bottom plane. Now we can start filling in our surfaces using the surrounding edges. To start creating our side mirror. Using the edges. Now that we have our mirror shape, we can start adding minor details of the mirror edge. We're going to offset these projected lines 3 millimeters and then extrude it to define the rim of the mirror. And then we will cut on the inside using offset lines projected inside 3 millimeters, so we can separate the mirror from the frame. We'll add some fillets. Now we're going to add plane 13. Now we're going to take a look and we're going to sketch a line on the bottom plane to then add our third plane using that line we just sketched, and perpendicular to the top plane using the blueprint to then do a sweep of just a circle. Following the stem of the blueprint, just a line diagonally, and then we will add a circular contour to it following that line we just drew. We can make it any size we want. And then we're going to remove the excess material by just keeping our mirror and removing the rest. Alright, boys and girls, let's wrap this series up on the Lamborghini. We're finally ready to do the final assembly. Let's just go over it real quick. So first thing that we want to do is turn on our sketch 6 from the Lamborghini body that marked where our wheel locations are. You can see these outline sketches here on the center plane, so that when we do add in our wheel assemblies on this side, we can do the concentric mate shown here, selecting this edge and any edge on the wheel, and then same thing on this wheel as well. And then we'll do coincident mate on both these center hub faces to line them up that way. That should be pretty simple and make sense. And then we're going to do a distance mate of 925 mil from this flat face on the wheel hub to the center plane. In this case, it's the front plane. And click OK to lock the wheels in horizontally so that they're just under the wheel wells. Looking good. Let's go ahead and turn off our sketch here. We don't need this anymore. And now we can mirror some of our components to make our lives easier. So our first mirror, we're just gonna select our 2 wheels that we constrained on this side, and we'll mirror them on the front plane so that we can place them on the other side. Boom. And now we can just lock down the side mirror. We can mirror that as well. About the front plane. Hit OK. And that should be it for the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. Like this video, give yourself a pat on the back if you've made it this far through the entire series from start to finish. Subscribe to the channel How It's Designed and see more content on howitsdesigned.com. We'll see you next time.